Have you ever wished that you had a different boat for fishing, a different boat for water sports, a different boat for cruising, etc.? Maybe you're just looking to add some wicked fishing accessories to your existing boat to help level up your game. Well, look no further, because having gone through this a couple of times ourselves and having built a couple of successful ski fish boats, we came up with the 3 levels of how to fisherize your boat. Just trust me. In other words, how aggressive are you willing to get with your next accessory, your next build, your next project, or maybe even your next boat? So stick with us, because we're getting things started with level 1 right away. So let's go! Level 1, we're calling this the get your feet wet level, where maybe you're interested in adding some fishing accessories to your boat, but you're not really crazy about the notion of having to drill holes or run wires through your boat. Well, good news, because there are a fair amount of accessories out there that allow you to do this. Firstly, get yourself some rod holders. Don't worry, they come in clamp variety, so you can move them around really easily or completely remove them if you wanted. They're a great way to get people involved and share the sport of fishing. Just make sure you have somebody constantly watching the rods or the bobbers, okay? Cool. Secondly is bring a cooler with you, and if you can find one that plugs in to help keep it cool inside, so much the better. This is going to be used for keeping your bait cool or even doubling as a live well if you're able to keep the fish. And remember, the fresher and cooler the fish is, the better it's going to taste. And thirdly is get yourself a portable sonar unit like this Garmin portable fish finder here, only 280 bucks Canadian, but it's going to bring you the benefit of sonar onto your boat. You won't need to mount permanent transducers to your hull. Instead, it has a suction cup on the side that you can quickly remove when you're done fishing. Having sonar on a boat can be so valuable, especially once you start to understand the information that the unit is telling you and how to use it to your advantage. But there are so many brands out there like Garmin, Humminbird, Lowrance. Which one should I get? We need to mention this firstly, that this video is not sponsored by any brand, nor is it meant to be a boat buyer's guide, okay? I'm not gonna tell you which brand of boat you should go out and buy. Instead, we're gonna share with you what's worked best for us in the projects that we've done. But we do have a boat buyer's guide video coming out right away, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, because trust us friends, we've fished on them all, from pontoon boats to surf boats. When I built my first project boat a few years ago, I opted to put in mega side and mega down imaging with some G3N machines from Humminbird. I wanted to know the most information that I could with moving my boat as little as possible. And I will be adding mega live imaging to this boat later on this year, which is going to be incredible. But before we explain what all this means, let's get to level 2, the getting serious level, okay? Here is where we get a little bit more advanced. And before you start cringing about potentially drilling holes in the hull of your boat, let me show you that this can be done tastefully and functionally. We always suggest having a main display unit in front of the captain's seat on a ram mount. Inside of the windshield is typically best, but outside, don't be scared to put it outside. And the reason we suggest this is for mapping, okay? Even if you're just going out dragging the tubes for the evening or pulling the wakeboard or whichever, you're gonna wanna know how deep that water is. And if you're ripping out to take the friends or the family fishing, you'll be able to see your hot spots marked on your screen so you can get directly to them. But from a fishing perspective, the information this unit can share with us is so valuable, especially if you invest in a higher end unit. They're incredibly beneficial machines, and we do not spend a day on the water without one. Fishy, fishy, fishy! You don't have to go crazy, okay? You don't have to deck it out like a bass boat or like we did with this Glastron GTS225 build a few years ago. But at least put one on, okay? Put one fish finder, one big screen on your boat. Do me that favor. Get either a side imaging or a down imaging unit, or better yet, one that does both. And this is a free tip for all you advanced users, okay? Keep this in mind. You might need multiple transducers if you're planning on putting your down imaging transducer inside the head of your trolling motor like I did. In order for me to use my sonar, I have to have my trolling motor in the water. And for some of you, this might be true too. It's just the way this boat is set up. But a real flex move, install a transducer on your transom and network it to your setup. Problem solved. Now the next piece to talk about is trolling motors. In particular, which one do I want and where am I going to put it? Can I get away with a basic 12 volt system, or do I need the power and thrust of a 24 or even a 36 volt system? There are usually models with varying thrust levels as well, 65 pound, 80 pound, 115 pound thrust to help move some of the bigger boats, right? Plus add to that the fact that you can have longer shafts or shorter shafts. So if you're planning on putting a trolling motor on a conventional bow rider, you may want to invest in a longer shaft in your trolling motor. Otherwise, the head of your trolling motor will come out of the waves sometimes in wavy waters, and we don't want that. The next fun part of level 2 is the rod holders that mount flush and disappear into your hull. Truth be told, sometimes fish actually prefer a stationary bait presentation, so don't be scared to put a rod in a holder for a few minutes. But don't you come back crying to me because you was over there smashing a sandwich when you should have been over there when the fish bit. If you have room at your bow, you may even be able to get away with a casting seat or a casting platform. We had to have ours custom made, but it created this space up in the bow where I could reach the foot switch of my trolling motor, I could reach my rod holder, I could turn around and see my fish finder. Plus all of this fishing platform setup folds and goes away into storage really easily. You can't even tell that you've got it. And lastly is level 3, or what we call the whoa level. Here there are no limits to what you can dream up. Remember to stay practical, otherwise you're going to end up with all this tech and all these accessories that you either don't know how to use or don't want. And that's not the objective here. Start with a good trolling motor, okay? We use and suggest the Minn Kota Altera. Sure, it's a $5,000 trolling motor, but get this, you never have to worry about messing with anchors or anchor ropes ever again. This model comes complete with spot lock, which helps hold your boat in place with GPS. But even if this isn't the one for you, you can still get some amazing style trolling motors from Minn Kota that aren't remote control or automatic. Plus, remember that Mega Live imaging thing we were talking about earlier? Well, keep in mind that you may need a second pole to go down in the water with that transducer, like this setup here, especially if you have an automatic motor. But the benefits of Mega Live will make it all worth it. Once you've got the trolling motor nailed down, you're gonna wanna start adding some screens. Not only that, but you're probably gonna wanna start networking all these together so that you can control everything seamlessly from the fish finder or the remote control. You can also start adding some permanent rod mounts to the side of your boat now, and wake towers work perfectly for this. Like we did with our Regal Fasdeck 2220, we had some nice brushed aluminum ones that matched the design of the wake tower perfectly. You know, there truly is no limit to the amount of tech that you can put on your boat, especially when it comes to sonar. We suggest getting something that suits your needs best. If you're going to spend more time doing sports like surfing or wakeboarding, then maybe you don't need a bling bling fish finder. Our recommendation, the Humminbird Helix 10. Not the bottom, not the top, in the middle, packed full of features, plus it is a giant display. Trust me, get one. A couple other items found here in level 3 are these things that you may have seen on boats, particularly bass boats or tournament boats, called power poles or talons, right? These shallow water anchoring systems. These things are designed to work either as solo units or in pairs, but keep in mind they usually only function to a max of around 7 to 9 feet of water. You're gonna have to install some more batteries, but by getting to this point in the video, you probably added 2 or 3 already anyways. You can even go as far as getting boats that have showers, bathrooms, and sinks. And while these seem like total vanity options, I gotta be honest, having a sink there to wash the slime off your hands and keep your hands clean all day, next level. Plus, remember that portable cooler from earlier? Well, how about a permanent live well instead? Some pro tips for your project, okay? Consult your local marine service center if you're unsure about anything, especially when it comes to electricity, running wires, or drilling holes into your boat. Plan everything out first. And make sure you have a battery booster pack on your boat. It will save the day, especially if you start running sonar, stereos, subwoofers, trolling motors, etc. Get one. You'll thank us. In fact, we have a link in the description down below for one that we use and suggest. Plus all of the items from both of our builds. What type of fishing accessories do you have on your boat that you swear by? Where do you draw the line when it comes to tech? What does your wish list look like? Share with us your creation ideas and results in the comment section down below. Plus, wait until you see this wicked cool video about 7 tips for how to have a successful fishing season. Just click or tap right here. I'm Bryce from Bloodline Adventures, and I will see you there.